Must have some solid gasoline in it. And one might even say chooched. So it is trying to kill me. At the auction, I also saw this guy. Sometimes things just need to follow you home. Welcome back to the Lost Cause Ranch. Today, we play with my ATC 110 Death Trap. I mean, I could call this thing a barn find, but I bought it at an auction. This guy is a one-owner 1982 Honda ATC 110 and has not been running for quite some time. Today, that's gonna change. I mean, it's gonna take a couple days, but all one video for you. We'll have fun by the end of this. So ran across this guy at an auction. It is a one-owner 1982 model 110 with the original title. It's been laid up for a minute and is currently not running. We got a few issues we'll have to sort out. Rear tires are one of them. Quite weather checked, quite not holding air, and one might even say chooched. We've got a frozen throttle cable, no zoom. But what is promising about this guy is, you hear that? We got compression. Outside of that, rear fender plastics are in great shape, which is not all that common because these were dangerous, which means they ended up on their sides quite a bit. You know, freewheel motion, not the most stable thing in the world. They are kind of a neat little thing though. They lack suspension, but they make up for that with these big balloon tires that you run at some low pressures. I don't know anyone ever had accidents with these. Best thing about the 110 is it's Joe-sized. I'm gonna have so much fun with this guy. We need to get this guy fired up. Biggest issue for that is we have one rusty gas tank. You can't see it, but trust me, it's rusty. I think we might need some fuel lines and fuel filters too. I mean, with it sounding like it's got good compression, we'll clean a carb, clean a tank, maybe a new sparker, and it's guaranteed to run. 3 seconds later, there's nothing to this guy now. I wish the Land Rovers were that easy. Fuel smells fresh. I don't think it's supposed to sound like that. Must have some solid gasoline in it. And since the fuel looks and smells so fantastic, we're gonna rip the carburetor off as well and tear that guy down, throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner. Pretty simple little guy though. We just got the one backbone frame deal and a little 110 single cylinder hanging off the bottom of it. Ooh. Someone took residency up in the air box, it looks like. Got a couple nuts. That guy there is pretty cool though. So that seals up to the air box and has an intake tube up through the frame towards the front. Almost like Pontiac Ram Air. Back to having a nice sunny day, and Sasha is enjoying it, sitting like a goofball as usual. I wish you guys could smell the varnish coming out of this thing. She's pretty coked up in there. All right, since this guy is pretty scaly on the inside, we are going to go straight to muriatic acid. Normally, if they're not too bad, you can do a little vinegar, but this one, pretty rough shape. So we'll dump this guy in and let it sit. So that was a quart. We're gonna top the rest off with water. All right, we'll let that guy sit for a few hours and flush it out. It's somewhat aggressive, so you don't want to get too crazy and eat through the tank, but got a little slurry in there. We'll dump it out and see what we're dealing with. So muriatic acid is also known as driveway cleaner. We'll have one clean spot. We're down to bare metal in there. Now we'll dump some of this Pour 15 fuel tank sealer in. This will give it a nice little coating on the inside, keep it from rusting up, keep it from shedding anything into the fuel system. You guys need to get on my level with this high dollar funnel. Nothing but the best. See, this is exactly what it's for. I didn't even notice that, but there is a pinhole on the bottom there. We would have had a gas leak. Probably would have blown myself up. All right, so we got most of our carb tore apart. Got the bolt on here. The slide will not move, so I can't get the cable off. We're just gonna dip this guy in with the cable attached for now. Small parts are in the cap. We'll clean it up in the ultrasonic cleaner. And the float, we'll clean that guy up by hand because if you throw it in there, it's just gonna float. All right, well there, it flew out. 1 20-minute run in there and we're free. And we're back with the lunch trays. Those little guys are perfect. Yeah, quite a bit cleaner now. We'll just kind of do some detail cleaning. So cleaning out the bottom of the fuel bowl there. Still a little dusty, but look at that old fuel. Normally that's a liquid. I think it's been laid up for a minute. I don't know, you think I should reuse those guys? Or should we go with that one? Pretty close in condition. We're gonna check the condition of this filter in here, and looks to be non-existent anymore. I think there's supposed to be an element around that mesh there. Just got back from the local Honda dealership and we picked up a few parts. We have a new air filter element. We gotta go aftermarket on this one because Honda discontinued them for the 110. But we also picked up a new Sparky and then the main piece that we needed to put this guy back together. This guy is the slow / pilot jet for the carb. Goes right there. And the old one was too gummed up to get clean. So, fresh OEM one. Now we can finally reassemble all the carb stuff. We have our tank all finished. We're there. Now it's been a few weeks since I took this guy apart. Hopefully I remember how to put it back together. That wouldn't be good. This guy is nice and clean now. Ready to reassemble and make that little 3-wheeler go again. Starting to look like a carb again. Got the choke all working. Got the bowl on. Throttle cable. Looks like that guy works fine. Must have done something right so far. Vroom, vroom. Alright, we have a blizzard going on outside currently. We're gonna nudge the LS3 Defender forward and try and get the 3-wheeler inside because I'd rather be warm. Shocking, I know. That should give us enough room. Poor little guy here. Wind kind of blew the plastic up. At least the engine's still covered. Got the rear fender over the drain. We'll let that melt off. Little heater going. We'll let this guy sit in here for a few hours and thaw out so it's not a big chunk of ice. Just go ahead and drop that, Joe. And that one. Going great. We gotta get her dialed in the right angle. The throttle is obviously the single most important part of this whole deal. Oh yeah. That's the ticket right there. We can lock that guy down now. Alright, spark plug time. This box has seen better days, so we are going to check the gap on it before we go any further. Protective tube was over top yet, so we should be in alright shape. My spark plug gap tool is not in this garage, and it's too cold for me to go elsewhere, so we're going to use feeler gauges. And we're in decent shape, so no worries. Little ATCs. That one doesn't look terrible, but not a bad idea to pop a new one in when it's been sitting this long. Cheap insurance. I suppose we should clean out the rest of whatever rodent was living here's home out of this before we put the air intake back together. Probably a good idea. Alright, so we have our new filter loaded up in the housing here, and let's get this guy on. We're down to just throwing our freshly coated tank. This guy's all sealed up on the inside. No more rust. It's starting to look like an almost complete bike. Or is it ATV? Not quite sure when we're in the three-wheel variety. Bike or ATV, let me know in the comments down below. And I also don't have tiny size little engine hose clamps on hand, so we're just gonna slip these on to get it fired up, and then I'll go grab some of those. Not only are these things a death trap because they're unstable while riding, I'm gonna make it a fire hazard. Fuel to on. We'll throw the choke on as well. Alright, airbox is back off. As you can see, we had a sticking float needle on there. Took it back apart. I think we got it all set up because we're not dripping gas anymore. Okay, so here goes nothing. Let's make sure the battery is charged up. Feels good. Compression sounds good. Success! We have a running death machine. Don't want to idle though. We'll have to play with that. First we're going to open the garage door because it's supposed to kill me while riding. Not in here. Anybody else getting sleepy? Alright, so this guy doesn't want to idle, so I have no idea what the idle screw is set at. So we're going to run her all the way in. And then we're going to start with like 1.5 out. So there's half, 1.5. We'll see what that does. A little bit better. Time to throw the filter back on before we get too crazy. So these tires have obviously seen better days, but we're gonna pop a little air in them to see if we can make them round again at least. Stuck spot on the brake. When in doubt, pry it out. We didn't die on the maiden voyage. My hands are froze. it's still below zero. The tire's got about a 2-minute lifespan before it goes flat. Interesting. I guess you should always check to make sure the front wheel is on, because it wasn't. So it is trying to kill me. Things to check for with your newly acquired three-wheeler. I think we'll put this guy away for the day before I actually hurt myself. Plus, we're going to be back in the 40s next week. Much better than -10. But I just couldn't wait. Now that right there is just too much fun. We're going to order some tires for this guy before I hurt myself. And we'll go through a couple other things. And you'll see this guy ripping around on the ranch very soon. But man, I can see how you could hurt yourself. Maybe a helmet. With that being said, appreciate you guys watching, appreciate you subscribing, and you guys have yourself a good Christmas and New Year's, and we'll catch you on the next one. I only have like 2 minutes of riding this thing, and the nickname Fun 10 is fitting.